6ix9ine biggest mistake yet. Life threatened.
We poppin'. Treyway.
Tekashi 6ix9ine is in the building.
Just last month, the infamous rapper tekashi 6ix9ine was granted early release from prison and allowed back into the real world. Ever since Tekashi was granted his freedom, fans have been waiting to see what the young star would do to revive his career. While Tekashi has been able to reignite the hype around him, it seems that his clout chasing comes at a high price as his life may be in danger yet again. Welcome to Lime Report. Before we begin, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway. Tekashi 6ix9ine is one of the greatest marketing geniuses the musical industry has ever seen. While still in high school, Tekashi realized he had a natural talent for music and began pursuing music as a career. Though he was able to create solid tracks from the beginning, 6ix9ine knew that he would have to separate himself from the pack if he wanted a real chance at fame. With this in mind, Tekashi went on to build an ultra-defiant gangster persona that helped the young star catapult his career into the heights of superstardom after just a few short years in the game. Throughout his questionable career, Tekashi has been exposed so many times that no one thought his career could survive. From the shocking rape allegations to his decision to flip on his gang in court, 6ix9ine constantly violates the codes of the street and still manages to survive somehow. While his past mistakes have almost ended his career several times, it seems as though Tekashi's latest mistake may truly be the final nail in the coffin for the young star. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at the recent moves Tekashi has made and what has some fans worried about his safety. Stay with us as we reveal the insane mistake Tekashi made that could see the rapper squarely behind bars once again, or even worse, dead. You won't want to miss any of this. When Tekashi first announced that he would be released from prison into home confinement, the world was in shock. Prior to his release, Tekashi had been the star witness against a gang that he joined as a way to gain notoriety. Yet, as life became increasingly more dangerous for him, Tekashi soon realized he wasn't cut out to be a gangster and flipped on his gang. With his decision to snitch looming over him, many assumed that the rapper would keep a low profile and try to stay out of harm's way. However, in spite of the lurking danger of the 9 Trey Bloods, who would love more than anything to put Tekashi in an early grave, the rapper has been anything but quiet. Just days after his release, 6ix9ine returned to his old ways and began trolling the internet as he so expertly did just before his release. With his newfound freedoms, Tekashi released a new single that helped the artist break records in mere hours, proving that the demand for 6ix9ine was still very much alive, much to the dismay of his peers. Since his release from prison, Tekashi hasn't hesitated to get back to his old ways and has been stirring up trouble with anyone claiming to have a problem with him. While it all seemed to be in good fun at first, some of Tekashi's opponents have been taking things pretty seriously, and now it seems as though his life may be in more danger than he's ever faced before. Don't go anywhere as we uncover the stunning threats that have come 6ix9ine's way since being released from prison, exclusively on Lime Report. When Tekashi first broke into the music scene, he did so by being as crazy as he possibly could and garnering as much attention as possible. As he gained popularity, Tekashi made sure that he had the most unforgettable face in the industry. While his self-marketing tactics worked flawlessly as he climbed his way up the charts, the same image that helped to brand him now works against the young star. When a witness takes the stand against violent offenders, they usually have their appearances and identity changed in order to help authorities keep them safe in exchange for their cooperation. Yet, thanks to Tekashi's easily recognizable look, that became an impossibility for the star. So, Tekashi decided to take his safety into his own hands by beefing up security and moving into an undisclosed location to keep himself out of harm's way. While his plan kept him well hidden, 6ix9ine made a grave mistake that nearly cost him his life. Since being released from prison, Tekashi posted a now infamous photo of himself with stacks of cash on the balcony of his new residence. While he was taking pictures, a neighbor took notice of the rapper outside of the safe house and decided to share a video online. "So I'm in my room," the neighbor begins. 6ix9ine is he moved into the house behind me. He's taking pictures on the back deck. Soon after, those who wished to see Tekashi dead began to work out his location based on the pictures and video. Once Tekashi caught wind of the security breach, he had to hightail it out of his safe house and move to a new location. While Tekashi was able to escape without being put in harm's way, it was clear that one more mistake like that could mean the end for the young star. Keep watching as things get more and more interesting from here. 6ix9ine hasn't been shy about the elephant in the room since being released from federal custody. Although many are furious at the rapper because of his decision to snitch in 2018, Tekashi hasn't backed down. On the day he released his first post-prison single, Tekashi took to Instagram Live in a record-breaking session and addressed everything that had been on everyone's mind for the past year, why he decided to rat out his gang. After dancing for his fans and even brandishing some handcuffs, 6ix9ine went in on everyone who's condemned him for snitching on his crew and breaking street code. "Now let me break it down," he said. "I'm sorry. I want to say that I'm sorry to my fans because, you know what? It wasn't worth it," referencing his joining of the 9 Tray and the events that followed. "If there is a street code," he continued, "right? If there is a street code and there's something as so-called loyalty and everything, and no snitching and all of that, I get it, right? But where was the loyalty when you was sleeping with my baby mother? Where was the loyalty when you was caught on the wiretap trying to kill me? Where was the loyalty when you tried to kidnap my mother? Where was the loyalty when you stole millions of dollars from me? Where was that? So who broke it first?" After Tekashi took to social media to address the snitching scandal, many began to see things from his point of view, yet there are still those purists that believe no matter the circumstances, Tekashi was wrong for snitching and must not be allowed to prosper. Among those with a voice against Tekashi has been Meek Mill, who has vowed to destroy Tekashi and his career if it's the last thing he does. Meek Mill is quite the social justice warrior and has made his stance against Tekashi crystal clear. Having spent time in prison after not snitching himself, Meek believes that Tekashi is nothing more than a coward and a cancer for the culture. Since speaking up on the issue, Meek and Tekashi have exchanged numerous jabs online. Though Meek has not been able to ruin Tekashi's reputation so far, he seems to have started a trend, with other top artists speaking out against the rapper as well. Tekashi is a polarizing figure that has always been good at capturing attention. Thanks to this, media outlets have covered his return like crazy, making it seem as if he is being allowed back in the industry despite his lack of respect for the rules, which hasn't sat well with anyone in the industry. Tekashi 6ix9ine is the greatest troll the music industry has ever seen. Yet it's the same actions that made him famous that constantly seem to be the source of his problems. Tekashi is a highly ambitious individual, and from the moment he began rapping, he knew that he would have to stand out amongst a sea of industry clones if he wanted to get anywhere. With that in mind, the rapper made every effort to be noticed and eventually gained the traction he needed. Unlike most artists who focused mainly on their music, Tekashi instead decided to develop his image first and music second. What the rapper was able to create was the persona of a reckless gangster who wasn't afraid of the law. Although Tekashi was not gang affiliated when he first got into music, he knew that the only way to build his credibility was to join a real street gang, which is exactly what he did. After gaining some popularity through the use of social media, Tekashi caught the attention of one of the most notorious gangs in New York, the 9 Tray Gangster Bloods. Once he was able to befriend some of the higher-ranking generals in the gang, Tekashi was able to join the 9 Tray and use their image in his music, granting the rapper the street cred he needed to push his agenda. From there, things seemed to be going well for Tekashi. However, after a few dire mistakes, Tekashi's public image began distorting from the picture he had worked so hard to paint. Desperate to keep all eyes on himself, Tekashi decided to go after those who helped to throw dirt on his name, thus creating some of the most violent feuds rap has seen in decades. Though Tekashi was able to survive multiple gunfights, the rift he created worked in his favor as the world began to turn against 6ix9ine more each day. Soon, Tekashi went from the once beloved new king of New York to a has-been that no one seemed to want around anymore. To add insult to injury, Tekashi decided to escape the gang life he once sought after and flipped on the 9 Tray the moment he was arrested. After Tekashi's decision to cooperate with prosecutors went public, many believed the rapper's career was effectively over. Yet, somehow, Tekashi was able to keep himself relevant even as he spent nearly 2 years behind bars. Following his triumphant return home, 6ix9ine's world seemed to be right once again as everyone clamored to see what the snitch rapper would do next. Although he has tried to dial back his wild attitude in fear of his life, Tekashi hasn't been able to resist the opportunity to stir up trouble in the community. Although he's enjoying his time back in the spotlight, if 6ix9ine isn't careful, his next mistake could very well be his last. While we don't know where Tekashi has moved to since his address was leaked online, we can be sure that he will try to not be spotted in his own backyard this time. However, as the rapper does his best to keep himself hidden, thousands across the country would love to see nothing more than the rapper fail or worse. What do you think will happen to Tekashi 6ix9ine? Will he be able to evade the 9 trays long enough to secure his real freedom? Or will Tekashi forever be hunted until one side or the other finds a permanent solution? Thanks for joining us on Lime Report, everyone. Make sure to let us know what you think in the comment section below. And before you go, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out the link in the description to enter a chance at winning our Apple product giveaway.